Well, hello, very good afternoon to you. This is DNO coming to you live from the forecourt of the Windsor Park Stadium in Roseau. And the reason we're here this afternoon is because there's something exciting about to happen. And we thought we'd have to be part of that movement to let you know about this exciting event that is coming up, on the 29th of September. But I'm giving you more information than I should because I have someone here who's going to give you all of the information that hopefully we can get from him today on this very exciting, which a lot of people are anticipating, highly anticipating. Simeon Joseph is the events coordinator or manager, whatever you want to call him, for the Flavours of the World Festival.
One of.
Oh, okay, one of the coordinators or event managers, right? Simeon, let's talk about Flavours of the World. I mean, there's so much being said, so much hype about it. I thought DNO should, cash in on the action and bring our readers some information about it. What is Flavours of the World?
Certainly, Flavours of the World team is that I like to term it as this eclectic fusion of cuisine and culture in one space, where people will come together and congregate and get a sort of a semi-global journey of different appetites from various sections of the world, as well as indulge in kind of culture and musical entertainment in one space. Celebrating and recognizing, particularly for now, the diverse nationalities that are now in Dominica. Because I'm not sure if you realize, but Dominica is becoming a more heterogeneous society. And so we have our Dominicans. We have first and foremost our Kalinago in various forms. We have our Africans. And not only that, we now have other Africans in Dominica for the medical schools and for various professions from various African countries, Cameroon, Nigeria, Mali, and all those places. And then we also have the Chinese, which have become part of our culture. We have the Venezuelans, the Cubans, the Indians, the Chinese, and the Haitians, and the Dominican Republic. So when you really look at it though, Dominica is sort of becoming a kind of kaleidoscope of colors, but also to a very much melting pot for different cultures, people from different regions from around the world. And so that is where the idea came from, to say, well, okay, let us celebrate the uniqueness, the diversity, as well as the commonality of people as people of God. Because it is an original festival that has been designed by the Catholic Church, of course, and in line with the Ministry of Tourism. So that what is going to happen is it's a national festival, the first of its kind in Dominica, whereby we hope to have, and we're planning every year, making it bigger and better, where Flavours of the World now becomes an activity, a festival, not just an activity, because there are going to be several activities in that one event. Flavours of the World will become a regular national festival on the calendar of events in Dominica moving forward.
Okay, I'm looking forward to exploring the various participants, the various groups of participants, nationalities or ethnic groups. I don't think they're ethnic groups, but essentially different countries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in Dominica we have different ethnic groups.
That's right.
For the Lebanese as well. We have the Lebanese
right.
there as well.
Okay.
Yes, so we have different ethnic groups in Dominica.
Okay.
No doubt about it.
All right.
But one of the things we have to realize, we're all God's people. That's the first thing we're celebrating, our diversity, our commonalities, and above all, beginning to bridge that cultural gap that exists among all the people residing in Dominica. And one of the best ways to do it is in food and culture, And we recognize, secondly, that when you look at the culinary landscape of Dominica, there are not many restaurants of regional or international palate. And so you will not get a good French restaurant in Dominica, maybe yes, but or Chinese or a Lebanese or a Haitian or Dominican Republic restaurant in Dominica. And so what we want to do is to bring that international cuisine to the Dominican public in one space. Thus the whole idea of flavors of the world.
All right.
So flavors of food, flavors of people, flavors of music, flavors of culture, flavors of taste,
Right.
all of that coming together.
And we're going to delve into some more detail,
Right.
about these various aspects of the festival. But first, before we get there, I want to ask you, well, what prompted in the first place, the holding, staging of this festival?
Okay, so the genesis of this
Mhm.
comes from the need for the fundraising for the cathedral, and it's historical as well as it's ecclesiological, meaning that it's church related, and so the fact that the idea came up because every year there have been different activities to raise funds for the cathedral, and that has been going on and on and on, not generating much income, But we recognize that in as much as we are seeking to rehabilitate the cathedral, there is also the need to rehabilitate a lot of the historical and heritage buildings in Roseau. The cathedral being, if not the oldest building in Roseau, okay, is part of our heritage and is part of our history, because the cathedral is sunken in the history of Dominica. When you think of the relationship of the cathedral to the history of Dominica, and most particularly the geographical site of Roseau, the cathedral at one time had been a mecca for everybody living in Roseau. If you realize, the western door of the cathedral was heading straight onto the bayfront. Why is that so? And it's synonymous with the naming of the cathedral, Notre Dame du Beauport, because in the days when Dominica was 100% Catholic and there were no roads around Dominica, the main port of Dominica was Roseau.
Okay, may I interrupt you just very briefly? In the days when Dominica was 100% Catholic, that was in the days of the French rule, right?
In the days of the French rule,
Okay.
and even the early days of the English rule to some extent, because the first English, if we check it well, I think it will come there, some of them were Catholic. So the point of the matter is, if you notice, out in the sea close to Fort Young, there is this big step. That was the original jetty. So when people would come to Dominica or come to Roseau from various parts of Dominica, because they would have had to churn through the waters, they would land on that jetty and walk straight up to that western door of the cathedral and give God thanks and praise and glorify his name for safe journeys. Thus the name Notre Dame du Beauport. Now when you look at the cathedral originally was made totally by hand. Every stone was cut by hand. Every wood was cut by hand. Nothing was done by industrial means. So herein again, you have the history of the old artisans of Dominica, the stone cutters, the old carpenters, the woodwork people making up the cathedral. The cathedral was built, and when you look at the old stained glass windows of the cathedral, you have a display of various elements of Dominican history. I'm not sure if you are aware, but the famous Italian painter Agostino Brunais is reputed to have been buried in the cathedral. The cathedral is the burial place for many people of long-standing history in Dominica. If you walk outside on the grounds of the cathedral, it also meets some notable Dominicans of way past being buried, especially on the eastern door of the cathedral. All the former bishops of Roseau were buried on the cathedral. Significantly, Tim, the original construction of the old cathedral is still in the flooring of the current cathedral. So as you enter the main door, and in that open space just beyond the choir loft, buried underneath there are the ruins of the first cathedral.
When was the first cathedral built? Do you remember?
That would be, I think, over 300 years ago. 1830, I think. To 1830, I think. That's the correct time. I stand to be corrected. And dates are, you have to be precise in dates. But that's basically it. And so we saw the need, because the cathedral is not just a space for Catholics to worship. A lot of tourists, before the cathedral was renovated, I could tell you, Tim, hundreds of visitors on the cruise ships came to Dominica and visited the cathedral. Because the cathedral has many memorable things. For instance, Tim, the organ in the cathedral is one of the oldest in the world. It's over 100 years old. But most significantly, it is the only pipe organ of that kind outside of Europe in the Western Hemisphere. You understand what I'm telling you? So nowhere in the entire Americas has an organ like that. The only other one is in France. And there are only two like that in the world. Okay, so these are significant historical things that we need to celebrate. And so they need to restore the cathedral, and because of that we developed this festival and twinned it with the need to not only restore the cathedral, but henceforth moving forward to be able to identify other historical heritage buildings in Rosa that will need assistance to restore them to their former glory and historical state.
Okay, so having said that, what do you hope to achieve ultimately in terms of revenue intake and in terms of the impact you expect this to have
First of all,
overall?
So let's talk about the impact first, because this festival is not just a festival to make money or to sell food or to sell drinks. The purpose of the festival, why it is called Flavours of the World, is it's to have that create that congenial atmosphere where families can come together, where people can come together, where as I said, all the different populations that exist in Dominica can come together and celebrate who they are, celebrate their identity, celebrate their diversity, celebrate their uniqueness, their culture and their food. So that's one of the things that, and that's what church is for. Church is to bring people together, to celebrate differences, to celebrate the different identities and uniqueness. And that's the first thing. So this is in tune with that. And the second one, of course, is to raise funds. And we're hoping to generate enough of funds for the cathedral on Sunday for the renovation.
Okay, well, we're not assuming that everybody listening to this interview now is familiar with what has been happening with regard to the cathedral, although there has been quite a bit of publicity on that. So let us very briefly give me an overview of what has happened with the cathedral. I mean, why the renovations have had to take place. I mean, you've mentioned the reasons to justify it, but I guess something was wrong.
Has to take place because, preserving history and historical identity is important for future generations.
But there was something wrong structurally with the cathedral.
And
that's what I'm getting at.
When we saw that, so originally, Tim, it was just to refix the roof of the cathedral, and that was at a minimum cost, which we thought would take 1 year. But then, when the move came to remove the existing roof to replace the roof that was, realized that, hey, the entire roof, as I would say, was a disaster waiting to happen, because it was totally termite ridden, termite infested. So under the ceiling, between the ceiling and the roofing, the entire framework of the cathedral was just something that had to go. And then in the process of doing that, a number of obstacles came up, a number of unforeseen mountains we had to climb. One, to remove the covering. When we came, it was asbestos, and so we had to refer to the scientific professionals and the health and safety professionals to remove that. That brought up the cost even more. Then the disposal of it was another major cost, because you couldn't just take it and throw it in. It had to be treated, it had to be taken away, it had to be disposed of in a safe way, because it's highly carcinogenic, and where Dominic has very high cancer rate. So the church has the responsibility to preserve life, and so we didn't want to contribute to, the carcinogenic atmosphere that existed. So that shoot up the cost by a few hundreds of $1,000s that we did not anticipate. Having done that, and when we were about to put on the roof, we realized the cathedral had no substructural reinforcement or no reinforcements on the wall. So the walls had to be reinforced, the pillars had to be totally redone, the flooring had to be brand new. So really and truly, we had to basically embark on the process of, you could put it, renovating in quotation marks, but really building a new cathedral. New roof, new floor, strengthening of the walls, rebuilding of the columns, new choir loft, and all of those sorts of things there. So electricals and everything else.
Right. So obviously that would have significantly affected the budget, right?
It affected
the original
budget
estimate, right?
Estimates. I would say something like 800% over the originally estimate.
So at this point, Simeon, how much has been spent on renovating the cathedral so far?
At this point, close to $13 million.
And how much right is left?
$5 million is needed. To complete the cathedral.
All right.
$5 million.
I asked you to go into a little bit of detail into that because I want people to understand why this is happening. Especially from the fundraising standpoint, and why it is important for them to consider, making a contribution.
We realize in restoring and renovating the cathedral, there has to be some celebrative moment for people. And so church is one thing structurally. Community building of church is another major important thing. So now we're developing that, it's a symbiotic relationship between the structural church and the organizational church and the people of God. So this
okay. Now that you have laid down the foundation, for what is happening here, why it is necessary. Let us now look at what is going to be exactly the festival is going to offer, so that people can know what they will be getting, what to expect when they spend their money to come here.
Thank you, Tim.
All right.
So on Sunday at Flavours of the World, our patrons can expect to experience and have a takeaway of an experience that will delight them. I like to call it, it's an eclectic fusion of cuisine and culture. No, I'm not saying food, Matthew. I'm saying cuisine. Because the whole idea is not for people to come and buy a plate of food and go. The whole idea is for people to come, Flavours of the World, and have a global journey within this space, whereby people would come and they would be able to experience and taste and delight their taste buds of foods from around the world. As I said, our Dominican cuisine, our Kalinago cuisine, Cuban, Venezuelan, Chinese, Lebanese, Haitian, African, and all of those foods around the world. And so that is what part of the Flavours of the World will be. And in addition to which, we're going to have the cultural and musical elements, where we're going to have a cultural showcase, and the cultural showcase is reflective of the history of Dominica. So we're going to have the Kalinagos opening up that section, and then we move into the semblance of African. So we're going to have some drumming, and then some bele, and then subsequently some quadrille, which will be the synthesis of European and African. Okay, so we're going to have some Jingping music. That will end that. And then after that, we go into performances. We have the Indians. The Embassy of India is flying in some dancers and musicians who will perform authentic Indian culture and music for us. We have the Venezuelans who are presenting us with some cuatro music and Venezuelan dances. We know how the Spanish dancing can be very exciting. Okay, so we're going to have that as well. The Chinese are also...
Simeon, if I may, we are doing this interview on site.
On site, right.
On the forecourt, the forecourt of the Windsor Park Stadium.
Right.
So how can we tie in, say, perhaps a taste or a peek of what this place is like, what it's going to look like? It's not there yet with what you're saying, right?
So team, we have three main entry points. We have our VIP entry point, we have our general public patrons entry point, we have our entry point for our artists, and our entry point for our vendors. And then once they enter into the space right here, to your right is going to be the children's playground. Now this is a delight, and that is why we say it's a festival and it's something for everybody, because the children's playground is going to have activities for the children as well as appetite. One of the things that they're going to have in the children's playground, they're going to have of course the bouncing castle, which all children love, but we're going to sort of introduce them to a wider sphere of entertainment. So there will be face painting. That's going to be done by Adistia Burton, former Miss Dominica of the Kalinago territory. We're going to be teaching them paper cutting by the Chinese. That is an art that is very international and very creative. We're going to be teaching them basket weaving. The Kalinagos are coming to teach our young people how to weave baskets. We're going to have... in the afternoon? You're going to bring that.
That's interesting.
Then we're going to have calligraphy, how to teach young people how to write calligraphy,
Right.
you know, and other funs and games that the young people can become involved in. So that's the kids section to your right. And then our cheat station is going to be in here. I'll explain that in a while. And to your right, going all the way up, are all our food, our you could say our cuisine centers. You know, I don't want to say food stores.
I like the terminology, cuisine centers.
Where the respective countries will be able to have their foods, where our patrons, so there'll be a chit station right here. Now when the patrons come, once they have entered, they will not be buying their food at the different booths. They'll be buying what you call festival currency in different denominations, be it 5, 10, 15 or 20, you know. And when they buy the currency, they will take that currency and they will choose which of the cuisines they want to
What will that currency look like? Tickets? I mean, what?
It's like tickets,
Okay.
you know, but because we don't want money.
Not monopoly money, right?
Right, no. So it's a currency, it's just denominations.
Right.
And they can go to any one of the cuisines and say, okay, I want this, I want that. Or they can go and take a multitude of tastings from all the different restaurants to create it. Or they could say, well, okay, just give me one chit and I will only purchase from, give me 20 or 25 and I'll just purchase only from, I want only Venezuelan cuisine and whatever. So that will be on that side here. Straight in front of us, Tim, is our VIP section, and tickets are almost sold out. We have very few tickets left.
How many people do you plan to accommodate?
For 100, but it looks like maybe we should have catered for more than that. But this is going to be our VIP. It's first time, so we didn't want to be too ambitious. And so this is our VIP, where tickets are sold for $250.
Okay, let's talk a little about the VIP and how much does it cost? $250. And what can one expect? Yes,
gets you entry into the site. I would call it our little global village, flavorful global village. And then we have the VIP entrance, and so it's a dedicated entrance and a dedicated space. Under the VIP, there will also be their own dedicated bar, VIP bar, and the dedicated buffet station. Now, interesting about that buffet station, people will not be going to the buffet to get their food. We have a hostess service where you will be received with a maitre d'. You'll be welcomed, you'll be seated like in a fine dining restaurant, your order will be taken, and then it will be brought to you at the table, and you will be served at the table. The same thing for your drinks as well. That's what's going to happen. Part of our package in line with our VIP, but it's also open to other people, would also buy table service, where you can, so if you don't want to go to the bar to buy your drinks, we have hostesses where you can just take a table and order your drinks, whether you want 3 or 4 bottles of drinks or you want a bucket of beers, and that can be brought to you.
And that's part of the service, the VIP service.
That's part of, well, the VIP and other thing, because it's also going to be available to other people.
Okay.
As well. We have
all
the
right.
table service,
Interesting.
so
Yes.
so
right.
you know, team, you come with a group of 10 friends. You don't want VIP. You don't want to be always going to the bar for a drink. You can just say, okay, let me buy a table for $300-400.
Okay. So you buy the table. All right.
And all your drinks are come to you, and you sit down there. You just enjoy the music.
Okay.
You want to place your table, you know, and then so you don't have to be going back and forth every minute. You want to drink.
But it costs you more to buy the table than to buy a VIP ticket.
Well, because you see, remember, when you buy a table, you're buying drinks.
Right.
And drinks aren't so cheap as we think. If you ask for a bottle of vodka, a bottle of whiskey, a bottle of brandy, that's already.
Oh, you mean the total cost to you could be 300, but do you have to pay for use of the table? That's what I'm getting at.
No, when you buy the table, your drinks comes with the table.
Okay.
You understand? So
all
you're
right.
buying a table of drinks. You
okay.
know?
All
and
right.
then you can just sit down, you get your ice, you get your glasses, and you know, it's brought to you, and that kind of thing.
All
so
right.
that's how it happens. And the converse is also true. You can also get hostess service in the VIP.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And that's the VIP, and then you stay there and you sit down and you enjoy the entertainment. entertainment because you have
Right.
direct line of view to the stage.
Okay.
You know, and of course this is open
But
space.
most of the people are not going to be in VIP.
Most
I
of the
mean,
people are
right?
not-
You can
they're
see
going to be
100,
around here.
100 seats. They're going to be
Right.
out
They're going to
here.
be in
So
there enjoying themselves.
right. So
paying
let's
attention
continue
the
to tell
children.
them what's in
Right.
store for them.
And
Yes.
what's in store for them, and then there's all the entertainment taking place. We'll come to that entertainment. in a
Right.
while.
Right.
To your right over there, we have what you call the general bar, where we will be selling all our beverages, the last tent, and then of course further on we have what you call our green room for our headline guests, artists, and our other general artists.
Okay, and
So
we'll
if
talk
you go
about
to
them when we
the
get to the entertainment. Huh?
precisely,
Yes.
and then
All
we
right.
have the
Mhm.
stage, and that's what it is,
Mhm.
and then people basically enjoy themselves. Now for the entertainment, we have a packed package. The package that we're offering is one of a cultural package and a mixed repertoire of music, as well as an exposure to international culture. Let's begin with our cultural element first. So as I said, we have what we call, what I would refer to as our indigenous cultural presentations. The Kalinago, the drumming, the bele, and the jimping. But in addition to which, we have the Indian dancers that were flown in by the Indian embassy. We have the Chinese opera singer that is coming on behalf of the Chinese, and I understood she's a top of the line opera singer from a Chinese opera singer. That should blow your mind, you know. And then we also have the Venezuelan presenters, and the Africans are also doing a presentation both in song and dance. Then we have a solo artist like Mary Pascal Afana, who is becoming very popular as a local Dominican Cameroon artist, so to speak. And then we also have, after that, Lily Octave. Again, this girl is tremendous with her voice. We have Natasha Ruff, who is a French gospel singer from Martinique, and she is a treat. If you look for her on YouTube, you will see what a tremendous singer that lady is. And then we will also have what we call our Calypso lineup, where we will be bringing on stage Calypso Monarchs. So we have the Hunter, we have the Bob, we have Tasha P, Daddy Chess, Dice, and who will be doing their Calypso set for us. And then we have our band. So we have Ecstasy, we have Triple K, and of course we have Ralph Conde from Tabu Combo, all on this stage there gracing. So from the time the patrons step in at 2 o'clock on, and we have two DJs, DJ Miguel and DJ Sleeve. So from the time the patrons step in on Sunday at 2 o'clock, they're not going to be bored, you know. And that is why we said we don't want people to just buy food and go. You come in at 2 o'clock, you buy your first tasting. 3:30, you want to go and try another one, you go and try another one. 4:30, you want to go and try another one, you don't have to eat everything one time. And so this is how the night is going to unfold for people, and I think it's going to be a fantastic affair.
So everything, Simeon, will be happening at the same time. In other words, when one walks in here at 2 o'clock, there will be entertainment from then until 10, which is the close down time,
DJ,
right?
stage performance, or solos, performances,
Right.
group performances, cultural performances, historical performances, band performances. That's what's going to be with
Okay.
people throughout the night.
Right.
There'll not be a dull moment.
Right.
The kids will be entertained, the adults will be entertained, the VIP will be entertained. The place is just going to come alive with flavor.
Right.
You know?
Before you conclude on that note, the bright note of how entertaining it's going to be,
Right.
what is the support? Has the support been like? You know.
Well, I must say, Tim, the
you know.
support has been tremendous. First of all, let me tell you, the first support that I must be mentioned, is the high level of volunteerism. The people who have come on board with their professional skills, with their experience to make these things work. And I need to mention them: Francine Baron Rouet, Damien Sorrendo, Cici Santilia, Annie Benjamin, Roland Del Sol, Lindsay George, and all these other people. I hope I didn't miss out anybody. But these people have come on board, provided their knowledge, provided their support, given us the necessary to pull this thing together. Then we have a very significant support from the business community in Dominica, who have come on board, who are giving us the necessary sponsorship. and whom we will acknowledge in due time, and who have been part and parcel of this process to make sure that our police, the security, so that infrastructural and capacity support has been tremendous. As I said, in terms of the media as well. So thank you to DBS and Q9 and everybody in helping to promote these things. Our different parishioners who are coming on board, inquiring for them to be here. The people who are purchasing the VIP tickets. A lot of our workers here are coming on board and providing their services free of charge on Sunday, because people recognize the need to give up their time, give up their talent, give up their treasure for this worthy cause. And that's what we call authentic, genuine tithing for a worthy cause, you know. And I think we have maybe started on a very good foot in terms of the general support. I'm just hoping that people are going to come. And when they come, there are different ways they can enter. First of all, every child under 5 years enters free of charge. Right? Every child under 5 years enters free of charge. Children between 5 and 12 pay $20 to enter. And what they get is they get all the entertainment in the space for the children, and then the parents will decide what quantity of food or drinks they're purchasing for them. You know, because you don't necessarily give them, because you don't know what they want. And then we have a special price for teenagers or students. Anybody 13 years to 18 years is just paying $50 to enter for the entire happening here. And in addition to it, they will get one free event currency, where again they can take that and go to any one of the bars and fill their tummies.
The currency will come in different denominations?
In different denominations.
Okay.
So they will get, but they will get a currency, but they will get a significant currency that will allow them to go and have something substantial. You know, in the cheat book we are selling different currencies, because you might want to have a $5 tasting of one thing, but you may want a $10 tasting from another thing, or a $20 tasting. So it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, in the Nigerian cuisine, I want a $5 tasting of this. In the Venezuelan cuisine, I want a $10 tasting of that. In the Chinese cuisine, I want a $20 tasting of that. Or in the, Haitian cuisine, I want a $40 tasting of that. So you buy according to the tastings that you want, and then you go and you pick up. With the packages come one tasting, which you have the option of choosing. So that's for the teenagers, the students, because we recognize there are many students in our Catholic schools, there are many young people between 13 and 15, so that's a special package. For the adults, their entry fee is $100, and then they also get one tasting, which they can also take to any one of the cuisines and choose whatever they want.
So they get a meal.
They get we call it a tasting, but it's not something on a toothpick.
Right.
It's not a little square thing with a little that you just bite. No.
But if one wants a meal, a complete, do you have that? Yes.
Yeah,
Can one purchase a complete meal? Yes.
And it will depend on the cheat that you buy, or the cheat that you purchase.
Okay.
Like you will decide what you want. When you go to the cheat station, you will ask for what you want.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
And then now we have what you call the group package, which is very attractive.
The what package?
The group package.
Yes.
Which is very, very attractive, and it's for groups of 4 adults and more. And when 4 adults or more come to purchase their tickets, they get a 20% discount on their ticket. So they pay $80 instead of $100, and they still get a $25 worth currency.
That does. Is there a minimum number of people to a group? Four. Okay, I missed that.
4
right?
and
Okay.
above.
Right,
4, 6, 8, 10.
Okay.
So 4 people and above. A group must be 4 and above of adults. So it not be a parents and 2 children. 4 adults. You will get 20% discount on each adult ticket. So you actually end up paying $80. Plus, you get a $25 currency, where you again can go and take that $25 and get a meal in any one of the things that you want.
So I
to
guess
go.
this is encouraging neighbors and so on to do some pooling.
Exactly, pooling together and come. And that's what you get. And then you come in and you enjoy the great lineup that we have. You enjoy and bask in the environment of the cuisine and the food that is there. And you just have a good family afternoon and family event and that kind of thing.
All right, Simeon, we I've noticed that some people are just joining us. Some people are just getting home.
Really?
And one of the questions that came up, or comments, was, "I've just arrived. What event is this?"
Oh.
So I'd like us to end here, today,
Yeah.
by you summarizing,
Right.
the,
So this-
the event
okay.
again for those people who are just
Sure.
joining us.
Right, so this
Right.
is Flavors of the World
Mm.
being put on Sunday, the 29th of September, here at the Windsor Park Stadium. Flavors of the World is an eclectic fusion of cuisines from around the world, where you can come and enjoy cuisine from various countries around the world, as well as participate, enjoy, and benefit from a wide selection and repertoire of cultural, musical, and entertaining package.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Simeon. I really wish you and the Catholic Church all the very best in organizing this event on Sunday. And I hope that people listening to this and other interviews that you have done will be encouraged to attend.
Tim, thank you very much for coming on board and to providing us with this platform where we can promote Flavors of the World. And I'm hoping that through this effort, we have a full house on Sunday. It's a event like no other. And as I tell everybody, listen, there are people who don't go to Creole Festival because maybe it's not for them. They may not go to Jazz and Creole. They may not go to Carnival because it's not for them. Now, when you look at the population of Dominica, there are 60, 70,000 people of Dominica. No event in Dominica generates 10,000 people. Where do the other 60,000 people go? So those people have been asking for somewhere for them to go with their family. These people have been saying Sunday afternoon is boring. Where can I go with my children and enjoy a good line? Where can I go with my close friends and enjoy something? This is the place to be, because it means therefore you don't have to cook on a Sunday. You are not going to be wondering, when I get here, what am I going to do? What am I going to eat? Or am I going to enjoy my time? No. You're going to meet people. You're going to enjoy food, you're going to be entertained, and you're going to spend a good time. You don't have to come from 8 and stay until 10, 11, or 2, but you can come at 2, leave at 6 if you wish. You can come at 6, leave at 8 if you wish. But I'm hoping that everybody will come at 2, fill up the gates at 2, get in here at 2, enjoy as much as possible of things. I'm hoping that we have enough cuisine to satisfy everybody. We're catering for a certain amount. We told all of our vendors the amount that we should cater for. So I don't see us being short. If we're short, well, maybe it's a good thing, and so, but we still encourage people to think. Tickets can be bought at Bullseye Pharmacy, Dipex Color Lab, Next Connects, and online.
Okay.
And as well, we want to encourage people who are listening out of Roseau that the parish priests have tickets. So you don't have to wait on Sunday to buy a ticket. You can go to your parish priest, go to your parishes and say, okay, I would like so many tickets for Flavors of the World on Sunday. So everybody on the west coast, on the north coast, on the east coast of Dominica, the south, you don't have to wait until Sunday. Come to Bullseye or to Dipex Color Lab or to Next Connects in Roseau. You can get it from your parish priests or in your respective villages.
Right. Simeon, thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, well, this is DNO. We've brought you an interview of Simeon Joseph, one of the event organizers for the Flavors of the World Festival, which is scheduled to be held here at the forecourt of the Windsor Park Stadium, Sports Stadium, on Sunday, the 29th of September. It was a pleasure bringing it to you, and we are glad that you joined us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.